On the first day back from my maternity leave, I was fired. Fired from a role I was headhunted into after 10 rounds of interviews. Fired from a role in which I had excelled before I left on my maternity leave. I was shocked and shattered. You see, like many of you, I had a bias for performing. So there I was, living my dream. I did work that I loved. I was good at it. I was a new mom. And then I walked into the office, and in less than an hour, my entire world seemingly collapsed. I was jobless. I was lost. When I finally gathered myself, I started wondering, if I'm so capable, if I'm such a high performer, how is this happening to me? How in the world did I let somebody else completely upturn my life? I found myself in a very dark and narrow place. And I realized, inside of me, under all the strength I had, under all the bravado I showed, was fear. It was not a fear that made sense. Nobody was physically harming me. I was not going broke. It took me some time to realize that this was the fear of losing my identity. My identity was so closely linked to the image I held of professional success that when I lost my job, I was shaken to my very core. If I was not a successful corporate leader, then who was I? And at that point, I learned a very important life lesson. I learned that it did not matter. The issue was not what was happening outside of me, but what I was allowing to happen inside of me. Eleanor Roosevelt said, "No one can make you feel inferior without your consent." Nothing that happens in this crazy world, and nobody can make you feel lost except you. And though this made a lot of sense to me, transitioning to another way of being, not just doing, is a gradual process. I became obsessed to find out what makes a life worth living. One of my findings was that the most common regret expressed by many people in their later years is that they did not live a life aligned to their true selves, not to the expectations of others. It took me quite some time to really integrate that learning. But when I finally did, I started on the path to embrace a life of abundance. A life of abundance is free of external images of success, external standards of success. It is a life that is aligned to your values and what you value. It is a life that is meaningful. It is a life that makes you come alive, feel joyful and heartful. And the search for that is very, very important. Now, what I realized was that the first step I needed to take to go on this journey towards leading an abundant life was to tell the truth. To tell the truth about my life, as scary as that was. My career was built on a series of promotions, from an employee to a manager, from a manager to a director. I had never considered that this entire journey, climbing up this corporate ladder, was a journey based on external recognition. I performed, and they offered me a promotion. My entire professional success story was actually based on what other people were offering me. I had never once stopped and asked myself, is this what I truly want? Now, I will be the first one to admit that when you decide to ask this question to yourself and go on another journey, it is a very difficult and courageous one. Because you need to follow the entire contour of your imperfections to discover yourself and discover what you value. Yet, even the search for that is a highly meaningful and a highly satisfying enterprise. What helped me to claw my way through my own existence is a grounding practice. A practice that is free of external manifestations of success. A practice that really helps me to understand who I'm becoming and what is emerging in my life by paying minute attention to it. For me, such a practice is a writing practice, daily reflective writing practice. It allows me to question my assumptions, to really be radically honest with myself, shed the facade, and listen to my inner voice. For you, this may be a practice of daily contemplation, meditation, or prayer. Or it could be walking in the woods around your house, painting, gardening. What is not important is the nature of the practice. What's far more critical is the regularity with which you engage in it. A regular practice will ground you. It will help you to really free yourself from the daily to-do list of life, to be with yourself and to be you. I regularly look into my daily writing sessions to look at patterns that are emerging, because they often show me what is important to me in a particular phase in my life. One such review led to the creation of a woman-to-woman mentoring platform. Through mentoring by an unbiased mentor who's completely out of the context of the mentee, mentees are able to really identify what is important for them. What is it that they truly value? They can go behind the wall of success, charm, and intellect and ask themselves, what do they value? Mentors feel a sense of meaning. And interestingly, they also become very aware about their own choices and their own purpose. So this sort of mentoring actually becomes a mechanism in which both mentors and mentees can start leading an abundant life. On the first day back from my maternity leave, I was fired. It was possibly the best thing that happened to me because it catalyzed my journey towards leading a life that is abundant, that is aligned to my values. My heartfelt prayer for you is that you don't wait for such a dramatic incident. That you integrate a grounding practice in your life. A practice that will help you to identify what is important for you. A practice that will help you to go behind the facade and really find your unique definition of an abundant life. Thank you. Okay.